Hey everyone. So actually, before getting into the review, there are two quick topics I want to bring up. First is, in terms of at the time of recording this, it's already very late. So what's going to happen is I'm going to save the One Piece anime review tomorrow. So there's that. The second thing I want to bring up, and a bit of a longer conversation, is the weekly Shonen Jump schedule. Because as everyone knows, as soon as this chapter came out, already we were hit with the news that there's going to be a 2 week break. And after, I went into this chapter prepared, looking at the schedule for One Piece this year, and honestly, Oda pretty much has a lot of breaks, not just Oda breaks, but weekly Shonen Jump breaks, and honestly, I'm kind of completely okay with this. Like, if this is the route that Weekly Shonen Jump is going when it comes to giving their mangaka breaks, I'm completely here for it. Because frankly, I think what's going on right now with Shonen Jump is that they're finally realizing, okay, they are kind of overworking their people a bit. So I think they're kind of trying to give as many breaks as they feasibly can at this point. And although I will say on a personal level, it is going to take some getting used to. I'm not going to lie about that, because just going into this chapter, I was like, I forgot of how long I had to wait for this chapter, and now I gotta wait even longer for the next one. Like, if this is the route that they're going with Shonen Jump, this is the route Shonen Jump going in general, I'm all here for it. But it is gonna take some adapting to get used to it, obviously too. But anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into the chapter itself. And there's a lot to talk about, and I can think of no better place to start than the end of the chapter, where it's revealed Kobe has been captured by Blackbeard, and that Garp is headed to Full Head Island to rescue him. And honestly, this is one of many battles where I'm forced to beg Oda, please, for the love of God, do not off-screen this fight under any circumstances. And I don't think Oda will, because this is too big of a, this is way too big of a highlighted fight. But at the same time, in the case he does, I just have to beg him not to, because to me, on top of this fight being a setup for what could arguably be the best fight in the damn series, I feel this is a perfect opportunity for us to finally learn just what the true nature of Blackbeard's origins are, and just why he can hold more than one devil fruit. Just what this man's whole deal is, because as so many have theorized, that Blackbeard has some form of familial connection, or just some kind of general connection to rocks. But for now, that's all they are, theories. However, just the fact that Oda is setting this up at all does feel a little too on the nose, in the sense where Garp, being one of the only few living people alive who faced rocks back in the day, the fact that he's facing down Blackbeard, who's potentially Rock's successor, descendant, whatever he is, I don't know, but it all feels a little too poetically set up for there not to be a connection there. So yeah, I feel like this is Oda's way of kind of saying yes, that they're just the fact that it's Garp, someone who did face rocks in the past, facing Blackbeard. Yeah, it just feels like a little too on the nose, so to speak, and that his way of confirming yes, there is a connection there. But even more than that, though, even if there is no connection to rocks, and it's just like one of those things where Blackbeard is Rock's spiritual successor, so to speak, I honestly feel like this is setting up the scenario for Kobe and Luffy to be the sort of Roger and Garp of this generation, with Blackbeard being Rock's, meaning, yeah, I feel what's being set up here is an all but guaranteed scenario where we're sometime in the near future, when we get to the big climax with Blackbeard as the main villain of it all. I think we are guaranteed to get a team up between Kobe and Luffy to take down Blackbeard at some point in the climax, because Blackbeard, whether he has a connection to rocks or not, is this generation's version of rocks. Like, he's just that much of a threat. The part where I grow concerned, though, and how that pertains to Garp confronting Blackbeard, is it feels like Oda is setting Garp up to die. Like, I don't know why, but this feels like it does have a bit of a... There are a few red flags on Garp, I feel, on Garp after this after this chapter, and like this is gonna be his final battle before he fully passes on the torch to Kobe as his successor, as the one to truly end this. And if this is Oda's intent, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up in a scenario where both Garp and Shanks also end up in an unlikely team up to take down Blackbeard as well, which will be if that is happening, it would be an interesting scenario for character development, and allowing Garp to finally to hash out his issues with Shanks as well in the middle of the fight. So yeah. But okay, moving on from that though, one of the bigger reveals we get from this chapter is that Kid has made it to goddamn Elbaf, and I'm not gonna lie, on one hand, I'm a little bit triggered that Kid made it there before the Straw Hats, but on the other hand, this all but confirms to me that Elbaf is likely to be our next generation now, next destination now. There's no way Oda would draw attention to that if he wasn't planning for the Straw Hats to eventually make it to Elbaf as well. The only question is what kind of state it's going to be in by the time the Straw Hats make it there, given Kid's penchant for collateral damage, shall we say? The man kind of gets a little bit, it's been said many times before, when a kid is the type of pirate who he has a penchant for violence. So is he going to try and cause some trouble in Elbaf? That's the big question. Or is he actually going to behave himself? And by the time the Strats get there, nothing's going to be wrong. That's my question about it all. But it's just also got me curious as to why he's there at all. What is Oda setting up with that? Because the only thing that comes to mind is Elbaf is in fact where the final road poneglyph is located, and Kid knows it's there. But that's all I can think of. What is Oda's purpose? The one thing I just want to know for sure: what is Oda's purpose to drawing attention to Kid being on Elbaf? That's the one thing I want to know, and it probably we'll probably address it when the Strats finally get there, I guess. Of course, while that's going on, we have Kuma basically running amok at the Red Line and pretty much getting ready to basically, I guess, invade Marie Joie, so to speak, or climb the Red Line and invade Marie Joie or something like that. Whatever kind of orders Vegapunk was given from the government in making Kuma pacifista, he definitely, when programming Kuma, Vegapunk definitely put more than a bug in his system, so to speak. And given what we know about Vegapunk's experiments up to this point, plus what we see in this chapter, I think it's fair to say Kuma is definitely an attempt to recreate the robot that ascended the Red Line, which I'm assuming is what he's trying to tell Bonnie. But I will admit, the whole scene with Bonnie and Vegapunk, if I do have a problem with this chapter, is that Oda kind of played up Bonnie's desire to kill Vegapunk a little bit too much into the comedic sense of things. Which, again, just being honest, I wish we could have skipped. If that was the way he was going to play it if that's the way he wanted to play it in this chapter, I wish we just skipped over that entirely, just to kind of the conversation between Bonnie and Vegapunk. Because again, it's one of those times where I get what Oda wants to inject a little bit of levity into this situation, but it's also one of those times where the comedy, especially because it involves Vegapunk and Bonnie, kind of takes me out of the importance of the moment a little bit. Maybe I'm alone in thinking that, but yeah, it didn't really work for me all that much. Of course, one of the more epic things to talk about is the setup of what I'm assuming is a rematch or a very brief fight between Zoro and Kaku, which, putting my expectations on the table, after I took a moment to calm down from the hype of that moment, I don't expect this fight to last very long, probably about as long as the fight between Luffy and Lucci, so only about maybe half a chapter, or however long it takes for Sunny to be ready to escape, which, from the looks of it, we are kind of in the final stages of escaping from Egghead. The only question to answer is whether Vegapunk makes it off alive or not. If his remaining satellites are going to get killed. I'm assuming it's the I'm assuming he is gonna make it off alive at this point, but however short it is, I'm definitely like interested to see how the confrontation with CP0 and the Striath is gonna play out now that they've found the Sunny for however long it lasts. Like I'm still kind of I just want to see how like a rematch between Zoro and like Kagu especially plays out, and it's gonna be interesting to say the least. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, the subscribe button, and just share the video, guys. Dark Knight of MMA signing off. Later, everyone.